What is a deposition? If you find yourself involved in a lawsuit, you will most likely need to be deposed. A deposition is simply an oral question and answer period in which you give testimony concerning the subject lawsuit. Prior to giving this testimony, you will be placed under oath by a court reporter. This court reporter will also be typing down everything that is said, the questions and the answers, and putting that into a record called your deposition transcript. Also present for the deposition will be all the parties' attorneys, yourself, and possibly a interpreter if one is needed. The deposition process can take roughly 1 to 3 hours, though at times it can take all day, depending on the extent of the injuries and damages alleged and the type of lawsuit it is. If you find yourself having to appear for a deposition, it is important that you prepare for it by meeting with your attorney and going over some classic pitfalls and some examples of things to say and not to say. It's very important to remember that when you give a deposition, you are not to guess at anything that is asked of you. The reason for this is because once you give your testimony, everything is placed into a transcript called your deposition transcript. When you go to trial, if you testify differently from what you have testified to in your deposition transcript, you can be impeached. Your credibility will be on the line when the attorney brings out the fact that you were either not truthful during your trial testimony or during your deposition testimony. So it is very important, if you are asked a question at your deposition and you don't know the answer, you simply indicate that you do not know the answer. Oftentimes, we are also, as lawyers, asked why our attorney is present for our deposition if they're not the one asking the question. You will be asked questions by the opposing counsel. Your attorney is there to object to any questions that they deem are not appropriate. For example, sometimes the form of the question is confusing or misleading and you will hear an objection. Other times your attorney will tell you not to answer the question at all if they think that the question invades upon any confidential information or privileged information. So be sure to listen to your attorney's advice when you're taking a deposition.